2021 Bronco Sport with a 1.5 liter. The alternator is making a bunch of crunching noises and whining noises, so I think the bearings are out. So I thought I would show how to pull this out as I do it, because there wasn't really much online. All I've done so far really is pull the belt off, and you can either cut it, it's a stretch belt, you can either cut it, or like what I did, I pulled the light down there. I pulled the pulley off the water pump. Just undid the 3 bolts, and then the pulley right here. And just to make sure that it was the alternator, this cover comes off with a couple bolts. I just got those off. But here's the alternator, and when I try and turn it, I can barely even turn it. So it's got something really messed up in there. See if you can see, but you hear that? So I'm gonna pull that out. I'll show you how to do that. I think there's just a couple bolts, 13 millimeter bolts that go through. And then I'm also gonna pull my water pump off because it's been leaking since almost 6 months after buying this thing brand new. So I'll be showing you how to do that too. Got one out. And there's another 10 millimeter that goes through right there. Got to remove that. And then way down there, you got a power cable to disconnect. It's got this cover on it. Pop that off. I think it's a 13 millimeter. Remove that. Of course, don't do any of this until you've first removed your negative power cable from your battery. So just reached in there and pulled this off pretty easily. Just pops off. Just getting your hand down there is the tough part. If you come in from the passenger side and reach down with your right arm, you can get it. This is what I use to get that 13 millimeter off. Deep socket, wobbly 3/8 ratchet. Well, I decided to give myself more room to get to those connectors and stuff. I'm just going to pull this piece off, which is just a retainer there and a retainer there. And then it just kind of unsnaps out of the airbox and comes out, and then it gives you a lot more room to get down in there to those connectors. Now once you got the cable freed up, there's another connector down there. But I can't see it. It's underneath the alternator, so I might try and free up the alternator first by just taking a bar and pushing it away from the block. Hopefully that pops it off. There it goes. Just being a little bit stubborn, but just work it off there with the bar and moving it around. Working it back and forth like this. Get that off there. These things can be a little bit tight on the brackets. Now this other connector on the alternator was a little frustrating. It's got one of those red keepers right here, and I've pulled it out. It's not there. But you got to pull that keeper out in order to be able to push this button and release it, and it's kind of hard to do when it's down in there, but I got it with a pick. Popped it out, and then I was able to push the button and release it. And then brought the alternator up, kind of pushed the hoses and brought it up through this way here. And then I also got the water pump off, which is pretty easy. There's a whole bunch of probably like 8 T40 bolts that hold that thing on, and get all those out with a ratchet, and it comes right off. Well, I got it out, and it looks like something inside has come apart, like maybe the fan. As you can see, it doesn't quite turn with the looks like the fan or something has come off. Once I got the alternator out and started trying to take it apart, because I thought that the alternator itself was bad, the bearings are bad. And once I figured out how to get this pulley off, there's a cap that goes over this, which I pried off, and then I didn't realize it, but this threads to the armature of the alternator, and I think it's a 17 millimeter Allen socket, Allen driver on my 1/2-inch impact in the pattern there, in the hole pattern. Took that right off. So once I got it apart, I found out my real problem, and that is that the bearings in this thing are completely gone, and they've been spilling out and grinding up against the housing of the alternator, making a bunch of noise. So you just have to get a new one of these, which I found on online for 40 bucks. Comes like this, and comes with a new cap, and I just got to put that on there. Well, I tried to find an aftermarket belt for this because Ford wanted $80 at the dealer, but in the end I had to buy the dealer one if I wanted to get it done today, and this is the one that I got. It's a stretch belt, 1152 millimeters long. Part number is JA661, or this one here. And the way I get this stretch belt back on is just get it started, routed most of it up there, and then put a couple zip ties on, and then just try and work it on. You'll kind of have to hold it so it doesn't walk off that pulley. It's kind of a pain, but it works. And there you go, all done.